All right, guys, welcome back to Good Day Columbia. 6:39 now, and the forgotten war. We all heard World War I, World War II, Vietnam, of course, the Middle East wars. But in 1950 to 1954, the United States was involved in what's called a police action, otherwise known as the Korean War. Now, I'm not sure quite why it was forgotten. 1.7 million Americans fought, 34,000 never came back home. Amen. These two gentlemen did. Bobby and Tommy, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for your service, by the way, to the country so long ago.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, you guys actually were friends before you got drafted. Back then, you got drafted, y'all. So nowadays, you would get a letter in the mail, right, in 1950, and went, hey, gentlemen, we need you, right?
That's right.
So how old were you guys when you got drafted back in 1950?
I was 21, 22.
21? How about you?
I was 22.
So 22. Okay, so we're like 17. You had a couple of years out of school and all that. What's going through your head when you get the letter?
Whoa.
Oh,
Let me tell you. I was playing semi-pro ball in North Carolina.
Get out.
With Western Carolina League.
Right.
In 48, 49, 50. Well, we were playing ball and the Korean War broke out. And next thing I knew, I had a letter in the mail.
Right.
Drafted.
Is that what it says? It just says drafted?
Well, no. I first was not elected in Canada to be drafted, I think.
Right. You were the first one in Lexington County.
I think that's what it was.
Good golly.
Anyway, so after that, it ruined my baseball career.
Right.
So I ended up taking my basic training in Camp Pickett, Virginia.
Okay.
And after that, I came back home for 10 days to get everything in order before I went overseas. And meantime, I got married.
Well, you in the 10 days.
Yeah.
Now you knew the girl beforehand, right?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know, baby. Hey, man, my name.
Yeah. So, 10 days I was on my way to Korea.
Right.
And landed over there in the middle of March, 1951.
Now, was it cold or hot over there in Korea?
It was just now ending the cold weather, but
Okay.
later on I was in the cold weather like that.
Good gosh.
So, I stayed over there a year and 29 days.
Yeah, I bet you know it to the day, too. Year
Yes,
and
sir.
29. How long were you over there?
I wasn't never to get over there. In 1951, I was 18 years old.
Okay.
Well, in 53.
Okay.
I joined the Naval Reserve when I was still in high school, and this was in January of 53.
Right.
And then the fighting quit about March 53. And then in July 53 is when they signed the peace agreement.
Okay, so I said 54, so it was actually
Under
1953.
a 8-year obligation to the reserves, and then I was 22 when I got my draft notice. So I just volunteered to active duty in the Navy.
Yeah, if you're already serving in the reserves, how do you get a draft notice? Don't you just say, come on, son, we got something for you to do?
Back then, the only thing exempt from draft was National Guard.
I got you.
All the reserve units had to be, they would be drafted.
Right.
So I was under an 8-year obligation to serve 4 years active duty here in Columbia, going to reserve meetings and everything, and then 2 weeks training duty each year.
I got you.
And then when I got my draft notice, I went 2 years active duty.
Gotcha.
And then I come back home and served 2 years inactive in the reserve before I got my discharge.
So you continue to go. All
So
right, gentlemen.
I ended up in the Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, but it's probably close enough, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your service to the country. Way back then, what was that, about 50, 60 years ago? Gosh.
Yeah, 60 something.
And I tell you what, if you want to come meet some of these heroes and help remember them and celebrate the fact, the freedom that they continued to fight for so long ago, we've got a very special concert for you. We're going to tell you about in just a little bit. In fact, Morihiko Nakahara is here as well coming up next. So stick around. Thank you. Alexis. We're continuing our discussion about the forgotten war, the Korean War, happening involving at least the United States from 1950 to 1953, and some of the gentlemen were celebrating the freedom that they fought for so many years ago. Now, the last two gentlemen we met, they got drafted. They got the letter, "You're drafted." But Robert and Bosie, you guys actually volunteered.
That's right.
See, the war happened, and you said, you know what? I'm not going to wait for my letter. I'm just going to go ahead and stand up.
That's correct.
What'd your dad and mom think about that?
My mom had a sign for me.
Oh, yeah, she had a sign. Oh, because you were only 17.
Right.
Goodness gracious. How long were you over there? The whole, from 1950 on, or how long were you there?
I got out and lasted 54.
Okay.
51, 54.
And what branch were you in?
Navy.
In the Navy? What about you, Robert?
Navy,
Navy as well?
right, 1949 to 1953.
So you were serving actually before the Korean War, before we got involved in the Korean War.
Right.
Now, you guys pointed out something interesting. We were talking in the kitchen a few minutes ago that technically we're not done with the war. There's just a ceasefire was signed, right?
That's right.
So technically it's not quite over yet. Let me ask you this. And they applied it to Vietnam as well. They called it a police action. Must have felt like a war, though, right?
It was very much like a war. We had to have a pailboard squad at nights in Bonson Harbor. They would try to climb up on the ship.
Right.
And also they opened fire on us about every day trying to get the chow line on the port side so they could kill out a lot of men at one time.
So they're trying to kill a bunch of our soldiers. Oh, yeah. That seems like a war to me. You know, guys, you can come out and celebrate these gentlemen's bravery, all the gentlemen's bravery, this weekend at the Koger Center with the Celebrate Freedom Foundation. Morihiko Nakahara, we have just a few seconds, but I want you to come in real quick. 10 to 4, there's a classic car show, and then Saturday night at the Koger Center, sir, you and your fine orchestra are celebrating freedom as well.
Yeah, you know, we are so honored to be able to participate in this celebration, and so we are together with a full orchestra. We're bringing in this awesome vocal quintet called Five by Design. So they're all singers. They sing in such tight harmony, and it's fun to hear. And then there are also actors. They're in costume, and so they take us back to to these like variety radio shows or TV shows from the 50s and 60s through their music, and it's really it's a fun show called Live from Ultra Lounge.
Okay.
And so there are tunes that everybody knows, tunes like Mission Impossible theme, Sinatra tunes, the things that we all would recognize. Sure. And it's going to be a great event.
Fantastic. That is Saturday night. Thank you, Morihiko, by the way. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your service to the country and keeping us safe way back when as well. Guys, I really appreciate it. We're going to get details for you at MidlandsConnect.com. On the concert at the car show this Saturday, 10 to 4 on the car show, 8 p.m. on the concert with Morihiko and these brave men and women who served over in Korea back in the 50s, guys. Stick around. There's a lot more Good Day Columbia on the way.